After a 48-hour trip from Cartagena, Colombia, we pulled in to Linton Bay, Panama. Gary just jumped in to check our anchor. We don't intend to stay here for that long, but we're not sure how long our check-in process here is going to take. And we're in about 44 feet of water, and this is one of the deepest places we've anchored so far, so we want to make sure that our anchor is nice and set before we head into town to check in. But it looks beautiful here. Linton Bay is only 30 miles from the Panama Canal, so it's a gathering point for vessels heading on to transit the canal. There is a marina, a small bar, and restaurant, but that's about it. Everything else is a bus or taxi ride away. There's a lot of boats here. Because of COVID, this is one of 3 places on this side of Panama's coast that you're able to check in. So I'm wondering if that's why there's so many boats here. This anchorage is huge, and there were probably over 50 boats from all over the world anchored here. We are off to check in. We weaved our way through the many boats, tied our dinghy at the marina, and stopped by the marina office.
We went to the office and got a letter saying that we've arrived. It's all in Spanish, so I don't really know what it says. And then we came over to the customs office, and they said you need photocopies of all of our paperwork. So we went back to the marina office, got our photocopies, and we're going to try this again here. We're all checked in. We only had to pay $20 to customs. I thought we were going to have to pay a lot more.
But we have to pay some to our cruising permit, which we got online already.
So we're all checked in, and our visas are good for 6 months. So that's good.
We're free to roam.
We're going to go see if we can get a cell phone card. There's supposed to be a little restaurant up here somewhere.
Only a handmade bridge away, we found the restaurant, where we were able to buy a SIM card. For unlimited 3G data, it cost $5 per week. When service is available, of course. And we had our first Panama beer to celebrate our arrival in a new country.
It's cold. We are all cleared in, so it's time to hoist our Panama flag.
It's a cool one.
It is cool. This is like, I think, one of my favorite parts about getting to a new country.
Hoisting the flag?
Is putting the new flag up. I don't know why.
Then why don't we do it in every country? If it's
because we haven't been able to get a flag in every country. Sometimes it's hard to find one.
I guess we should have bought the giant bag of country courtesy flags from Amazon after all.
What you making?
Brownies. Since we motored all the way here, I feel like cooking. For some reason I wanted chocolate, and we don't have any chocolate, so I have to make it.
And while Brooke has brownies going in the oven, I've got dinner on the grill. Colombian chorizo. We're super hungry. Can't wait to eat and get some sleep.
All checked in, ready for dinner, brownies, and bed. Linton Bay was just a stopping point for us to get our legalities done. In fact, the place we wanted to go was the San Blas Islands, but we had to sail past them on our way from Colombia in order to follow the proper check-in process. As it turns out, this was a great little spot for a couple nights rest and to refuel before it was time for us to get moving again.
This is our first time getting fuel since we left Puerto Rico in the marina, and that was all the way back in June, and it's now October. So that's been about 5 months, and we have only used maybe 60 gallons in about 5 months, so that's pretty good. We've covered a lot of ground and been living aboard for 5 months. We were at the marina, of course, in Santa Marta for a month and a half, so we weren't using any diesel there, but still pretty good. We've come a long way on not a lot of diesel.
For a generator too.
Yeah, most of that's probably gone to our generator, except for the motor to get here to Panama. That was the longest we've ever motored.
For those of you wondering, our fuel tank holds 80 gallons of diesel and we average about 6 miles per gallon depending on sea conditions.
Can't see you. It is 4 a.m. and we just got up because we have 50 miles to get to the San Blas Islands, and we want to make sure we arrive there in the middle of the day so we have good light to get into the anchorage and see where all the reef is. So unfortunately that means leaving at about 4 in the morning. So there's no wind, so I think we'll be motoring, but we're just finishing getting ready. So we're pretty tired, but once we get going, one of us can go back to bed. Maybe we'll rocks, paper, scissors to see who gets to sleep.
After we got going and pulled the anchor, I went down and got a couple more hours of sleep, but it is my watch now, and it is raining. Woohoo! But kind of a little sketchy around here. There's a bunch of big logs and things that are floating around in the water. So I'm having to keep a pretty good eye out to make sure that we don't hit anything. Since we're motoring especially, I don't want anything to get stuck in the prop. Anyway, hopefully the rain passes soon and we can get some sunshine for our trip. We are motoring because there's only 2 knots of wind and we want to make it there before sundown. So this is what these logs look like. Most of them are pretty small, but there's some big ones that would actually do some damage, so trying to keep a lookout for those. Well, I don't see any logs up ahead for a minute, so I'm gonna run down and make a coffee for my morning. And we have lots of power since we're motoring, so I get to use the microwave. Woohoo! Much easier than boiling water on the stove. But in order to use the microwave, I must first turn on the inverter and then turn on the AC power to the outlets. A little more work than using the microwave in a house. Alright, coffee's made, and now I just sit here and wait until another storm blows through or there's another log to ditch. I'm just gonna keep an eye out. And yeah, maybe listen to a podcast or something. But pretty quiet.
Over the past year, we had become accustomed to the constant trade winds of the Caribbean. Having to fire up the motor to keep moving isn't ideal, but we sure could get used to these flat seas and calm conditions.
Hey, are you on watch? Finally got some wind, about 8 knots. So we're going about 3 knots and we're about an hour away from the anchorage.
Not quite enough wind to keep the sail open, but that's what boat hooks are for, right? When we finally got enough wind to fill the sail, it was as peaceful as sailing can get.
It was so peaceful, in fact, that Gary decided to put the drone up to get shots of us coming into the anchorage. And well, this is where we stop filming for the day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are we today?
We're in San Blas. We made it here, but our drone did not. We tried to fly it here in San Blas as soon as we got here, and it went straight into the ocean, so pretty bummed about that. No more drone shots for a while until we can get a new one somewhere. But it's beautiful here, and we're gonna go out for a snorkel.
We were really hoping to insert some epic drone footage here, but this will have to do instead. While freediving, we were able to see a green eel, a channel crab, this triggerfish, and a stingray. Anyone know what type of ray this is? We've never seen one like this before. But the most intriguing thing is this wreck. Just outside the reef, sitting in about 6 feet of water, this ship sits mostly upright, and we were able to swim over and check it out. As we swam around the backside of the ship, we found a rope. And well, you know what happens next. Since we weren't able to get drone shots of this little island named Chichime, Gary climbed to the highest point he could find. That's me down there, floating around. And here's Gary climbing his way through this rusty wreck. Through a friend, we found out this wreck happened only a couple years ago, when this ferry, luckily without passengers, had experienced a mechanical failure, and unfortunately ended up drifting onto the reef. There were multiple attempts at salvaging this vessel, but all were unsuccessful. So now, here it will lie forever, slowly rusting away, while marine life below nestle their way inside. I'd say our first day adventuring in the San Blas Islands was a success. Later on, we decided to go on a dinghy mission, because despite us being miles from land, surrounded by beautiful uninhabited islands, there was trash everywhere. We didn't even put a dent in the problem, but we can't help but wonder where all this trash comes from. Is it from the sailing community? Is it trash runoff from the mainland? Or is it trash that has drifted from hundreds of miles away? We'd love to hear what you think. Drop a comment below. In less than 30 minutes, we were able to fill up this entire trash bag. We hope you enjoyed this sneak peek of the San Blas Islands. Cheers everyone, thanks for watching.